I am honored to introduce now our next speaker moderator for the SoC Manufacturer Roundtable, Wojtek Makowski, Orange, Vice President, CP Ecosystem, and Purple Foundation Platinum Board Director.
Thank you. So, with this chipset vendors roundtable, I would like to showcase in some way how fair and friendly we try to be at the Purple Foundation. So I spent some time thinking in which way we should ask the questions to have people sit here, okay? So first of all, we start with the alphabetical order of companies, right? So the first seat is for Broadcom. Please take your seat. The second, Cortina. The third, MaxLinear. The fourth, MediaTek. And sorry, Wayne, Qualcomm is at the end. One more thing about the fairness. I also decided that I will ask the same question to all of those guys because it's always interesting to learn their different visions. You know, they are all competitors, but without them, there's no such a thing like a CP. This is the basis of everything. So what they think about different things really counts for the Purple Foundation, etc. So I believe not only it's the question of fairness, but it's also interesting to hear from all of them what they think about the different topics. But, you know, there is something even more important than the fact that the chipset vendors are important. This is the first time at the Purple Foundation that we have all 5 key chipset manufacturers on stage. It also shows, you know, the progress that we did. So guys, let's start by the presentation of yourself, your companies, and why your company joined the Purple Foundation. Wayne.
Yeah, hi, it's Wayne Walters. Yeah, I'm the Senior Director of Business Development for North American Operators. And a little bit about Broadcom. We're a ranked number 11 on the 11 on the market cap worldwide. We have 26 lines of business for semiconductor and infrastructure software. And we're based out of Palo Alto, California now. We recently changed our headquarters up there. And yeah, as far as why we joined Purple, it was driven by our strategic partners. And that was pretty much what led us back to rejoin Purple. We're actually one of the founding members on the MIPS Foundation, yeah, way back when.
That was a prehistory of Purple.
A little bit of history there. So, but yeah, happy to be on board and looking forward to the discussion today.
Great. Bill.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me back. My name is Bill Reisen. I am the VP of Marketing for Cortina Access. We are an SoC supplier for optical technology and for gateway. As far as how we got to be at Purple, I believe we were actually talking to our customers and strongly encouraged to join and participate.
Len.
Len Daphne, VP and Chief Technology Officer for MaxLinear. We got into Purple actually through an acquisition. It was a choice in that we had bought Intel's Connected Home division, and at the time they were very involved in Purple. And once we had that acquisition, we got involved. Purple made a lot of sense to us because we had multiple software platforms going inside MaxLinear, and it wasn't clear at the time that Purple was going to be the champion that was going to win, but that was one that we wanted to get involved with and make sure that we were fully engaged there to see if that was a possibility.
JP.
That one too. All right. Hey guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. My name is JP Camille. I'm the business development lead for broadband operators at MediaTek. MediaTek is one of the larger SoC vendors focused on consumer products, but also broadband gateways amongst other enterprise type applications. We got involved in Purple mainly as our, being customer focused and customer driven. Our customers wanted to get Purple deployed and wanted it deployed on some of our SoCs, and so we're pretty proud to have gotten involved maybe a little later in the game, but also be right there with products developing and deploying on Purple imminently. So our customers brought us here, and we're pretty happy to be here. We've had a commitment to kind of open source and open interface software for a while, as you guys have seen with OpenWRT and with open source Wi-Fi for quite a while, and that fits pretty neatly with the way that Purple works. So we're happy to be here.
Thank you. Wayne.
Wayne Daniel, Qualcomm, our headquarters in San Diego. I'm based in Dallas. I'm part of the North America carrier team. Qualcomm's been no stranger to open source. We've been actually 10 years actually in the Purple, the original Purple. We've had open source drivers for over a decade and been supporting the community for many, many years on multiple projects. We view open source as a key multiplier. It allows us to enable a lot more products, support a lot more customers, and that's why it's important to us. And that spans not just the CPE market, but also very important for mobile and other markets.
Thank you guys for the presentation and the explanations why you joined Purple. Now, the next showcase how far we are. So not only I ask the same question to all of them, so nobody can pick and choose, but there's also a round-robin algorithm. Okay, so because when you are the first or the last one, it's not always the best. So we'll switch. So Wayne started the first question, so now we'll start by Bill with the next one, right? And then go to the right and go back to Wayne, and so on and so on. So the question that everybody in this room would like to ask is the following. What are currently your plans regarding the support for Purpleware, and whether you want to have something like a Purple official platform? Bill.
You lumped two questions together. So the answer to the platform question is yes, we are supporting a Purple open platform through one of our partners. The hardware will come from KAON, but Cortina will support other customers directly on that with the SDK and the Purple platform. As far as our plans for Purple go, we will continue as long as the carriers continue, right? It's really, the momentum comes from you. I don't even feel that we necessarily have a choice. If enough of the large carriers are doing it, what are we going to do, walk away? No, obviously. So it's really not our decision whether to participate or not. We are currently in the process of migrating from a 2.x version to a 3.x version, which should be out in a couple months.
Len.
I think we had talked, there's been many presentations already showing that MaxLinear has a platform. There's three different types of platforms. There's the fast track, the regular, and then there's proprietary platforms. So last year, MaxLinear entered into the fast track platform. There's a fee to enter into that, so it's something that we were willing to do and go in with Qualcomm. Both of us have a fast track platform last year, and that was our Wi-Fi 6 platform, and this year we'll have our Wi-Fi 7 PON Wi-Fi 7 gateway.
Thank you. Is this one working? Okay, this one works now. So MediaTek has big plans for Purple in the sense that we have a pretty diverse product portfolio, and we have been committed to supporting Purple across Ethernet device, mesh node type products, 5G gateway products, and fiber gateway products. So across all those different products, Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, with a variety of drivers, we're fairly committed to Purple and filling out that matrix of Purple support. In terms of actual platforms, we do plan to have a development platform. There isn't one there available right now, but I think if you guys give us a year or less, you'll probably see one popping up pretty soon.
Qualcomm's also a participant in the Fast Track program, and we have a couple platforms now part of that. The first one was the Wi-Fi 6E platform, known as Haze. It's a tri-band Wi-Fi gateway solution. And we also introduced, I guess the end of last year, a Wi-Fi 7 platform, codenamed Freedom. You've seen some of them on the stage and some of them in the demos. We intend to continue support for those platforms going forward and participating in the Purple working groups and contributions. We also have other platforms that are for fixed wireless and other type of CPE, and have roadmap plans to also support those with the Purple platform. Across the board, we've been standardized on OpenWRT as a common code base, and then leverage OpenWRT and extend it with carrier-grade Purple OS.
Wayne.
Yeah, our plans are being driven by our largest strategic operator customers, and we've been working with them to help them get to market on their various plans that they have planned for the Purple initiatives, and should result in the first large-scale deployments of CPEs running Purple OS. And as far as our plans, are we planning to offer a reference design? We think it's something that will kind of occur naturally after these large-scale deployments occur, and so that's something we're working towards.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, we will have Purple on all 5 key chipset vendors' platforms, right? Thank you, guys. Now we'll start with another question. This time we'll start by Len and go to my right. Okay, so the question is the following. In the discussions with many of chipset vendors, I heard this information saying that the cost of software development, the low-level stuff, software development, was increasing. You had more and more engineers working just on software. So the question is the following. Do you believe that thanks to Purple, you can optimize those costs, if not reduce? And if yes, why?
Yeah, that's a great question. The software team in MaxLinear is the largest engineering team that we have, so it's by far the largest team we have, as most semiconductor companies are the same way. And when we acquired the Intel assets in 2020, they had a reference platform based on, it wasn't an OpenWRT, it is based on OpenWRT, but it was a reference platform internal to MaxLinear called Universal Gateway. And we supported this, used it as a reference platform, delivered it to customers, but in the end, no one was actually using this software because everyone had their own versions of this, and we'd end up implementing different versions on top of that. So one of the things Purple's allowing us to do is now we've moved our reference platform to Purple. So the gateway that we have in Purple, we use that as a reference platform now for all of our software development. So that's the primary target. So rather than having this other target where we would use as a reference platform, do all that work, now we're able to do this work and it contributes directly to Purple. So that's going to give us savings in the long run.
So at MediaTek, our base reference platform has been OpenWRT for a fairly long time. I think we've been in the OpenWRT upstreaming business for the better part of 7, 8 years, since the Wi-Fi 5 days. And standardizing on Purple, or OpenWRT allows a pretty straightforward transition for us to Purple, and that helps. The other aspect of it is on the a lot of the low-level API definitions would have been the ones, that most of us SoC vendors were heavily relying upon anyway and would have supported as a choice, and therefore that gives us a little bit of economy of scale as well. So we do like the common low-level APIs that unify the development across Purple. So from that perspective, it's very much aligned with the direction that we had set, and it enables us to really support it across all of our product lines, a bunch of different access technologies, different Wi-Fi configurations, et cetera.
I think it's a big factor because it allows us to concentrate on next generation solutions and differentiation on top and building on a common code base without reinventing the wheel. So the contributions from open source community, from Purple, is a multiplier. Everybody works together, builds on the common code base. We can optimize features on our particular implementations and hardware, and the community can add value with downloadable apps and other extensions that, working together, we can accomplish a lot more than trying everybody reinvent the wheel each time. So I definitely think it's a cost savings. And as Lynn's point, software is a big component of product development these days, and it's important to, focus on the things that you can add value as opposed to focus on the things of reinventing it yourself and having, proprietary implementations. It's allowed us to introduce products to market, I think, sooner, and the community itself gets benefit because they can do things on their own as opposed to depending on timing or schedule or resources from us. And we've seen customers launch a product with little to no help by leveraging that open source and doing things on their own, and then contributing to the community, which then has a snowball effect.
Yeah, and I think. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think from Broadcom's perspective, the market is, as we've been discussing today, is highly fragmented. You have MSOs, you have telcos around the world, and it's very fragmented at this point. So it could lead to cost optimization, but it also is every operator's product is typically fairly unique at that point in time, that it's developed and it has to be carried forward in its life cycle. So I think it definitely has promise, especially if we have a lot of consolidation in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in our experience, having been through this process already and updated an SDK and everything, I don't feel that it's created an unnecessary burden or a large new burden on our software development. It was actually pretty smooth for us to implement it. And I think that will only get better as things get more universal and more accepted.
Okay, great. Now, I believe you will not be surprised by the next question. I'm from Orange, right? What is one of the most important things for Orange and a little bit different than for the other operators? This is the story about the energy efficiency, right? So my question is the following. Do you believe, because you all know our requirements regarding energy efficiency, right? So do you believe that there is a special role for Purple to improve the CP energy efficiency in general? So this time we start by GP.
Thank you. I do think Purple has a role to play. One of the great things that Purple can enable for the operators is, just telemetry, some data about, how busy the devices are, what percentage of time the devices are spending in whichever power-saving state that you guys define and provide. I think there's been some discussion already about having a power management subsystem implemented, which, could be extended and with a rich, telemetry data coming back will help operators quantify how much power they're actually spending. And that could be a really helpful thing to help drive the, the device makers and and the power down in the devices, if that's the direction that you guys, at Orange, are interested in driving it.
It's not only Orange. It's, in Europe we have regulations that are pushing forward. Orange also wants to, to be a good example of how we should deal with those things, but it's more than just Orange. Wayne, sorry.
It is very important, not only from regulatory, but also the right thing to do, and there are benefits to doing it. So some of the benefits include smaller form factors, unique ID designs, and so on. So power savings matters from a product standpoint as well as an environmental standpoint. In general, power savings is in Qualcomm's DNA, obviously having a lot of products in the mobile space, battery operated. Low power is very important. Just this week, we announced many new products in the PC space and bringing them with them, double the battery life that's been possible in the past. So I think leveraging that in the CPE space makes sense. And what Purple can do, I think, is drive forward with standardized LLAPIs so that there's a standardized way to go in and out of low power states and do that across the industry and lead in that case with low power implementations that then can propagate not just in the operator space, but across enterprise and retail spaces.
Is it working?
Okay. Yeah, energy efficient Ethernet's a heavy area of focus for Broadcom. We have low power and standby modes exposed in our firmware. And basically, the software can trigger when those modes are enabled and when to come out of those modes. But I think Purple could help drive the application intelligence to make sure that you have a good user experience while making sure you have a very green CPE as well.
So battery problems here. We need power efficient microphones.
Too much.
Yeah, I'll echo a little bit what Wayne said. I do think if Purple wants to take on additional work, one of the struggles with power savings is it's easy to turn a networking interface off, right? You shut off Wi-Fi, shut off Ethernet, but how do you know when to turn it back on? And that might be room for some type of app that, wakes up certain times or something like that, that still doesn't ruin the user experience. So that might be one thing that Purple could do to address this CPE power.
I think it's not just the energy. I think the thing that we're all discovering about Purple is that it's really kind of the first time that operators have been collaborating on features. I mean, all the operators come to standards committees, they come to 802.11, they come to broadband forum, but that's really just a specification. And I think the difference is with Purple, it's really about the features for the gateway. And that's the very first time that I really believe that Orange, Verizon, and AT&T are coming together to make these decisions together. I mean, it's difficult because, there's three big carriers, but they're actually working together to define these things. Energy efficiency can be one of them, but they're already working together on many of those things already, and that's you can see we're benefiting from that because now it's not just one operator with the requirements. Now there's a lot more thought put into it because it's commonality, and energy is one area, and like Bill said, it's the use cases. It's really about defining it. We have world-class low-power designs at MaxLinear, but we really can only do it for the use cases that are defined by the operators.
No, actually, it works. Okay, thank you, guys. So I asked this question not only because I'm from Orange, but this is also because we will have something about energy efficiency on the roadmap this year. It won't be yet a scenario describing in which conditions, what we will do, etc. Because in the Purple world, there is, this application layer that is designed for that. And there is we all know there is no simple way to define how this application should work, so it will be probably several tries. We'll need to make, experience how it works, right? So this year, what we will do, and this is why we need all of you guys, is we'll try to expose to the application layer different capabilities, okay? To know whether they are available, and if yes, to have them available in the application layer. And then there will be next steps. So that's our way of thinking. So we absolutely need your involvement this year to define what are all possible capabilities regarding the energy efficiency. Okay, that's the first step. Then, this question was asked in several roundtables today, so we cannot avoid the same questions with the chipset manufacturers. This is about the artificial intelligence. So the question is, whether do you believe that a CPE should have some local AI capabilities? And if yes, why? If not, why? So right now we start with Wayne.
So I think the answer is yes, and it's already being done, and it's only a question of how far can we take it. From a CPE standpoint, there are 5G modems and Wi-Fi radios that already start to incorporate AI capabilities. AI capabilities to have more awareness of their environment for interference avoidance, AI capabilities to know when to save power when the applications can demand it or have low data. So I think there's already a basic level AI that started in gateway products. I think with the new AI that's being enabled, especially on device, whether it be smartphones and laptops, that portions or subsets of that can be migrated to the CPE, the ones that make sense on a CPE. So I think that it's already started. It's probably too early to know how far it can go, but there are definitely opportunities and there are advancements being made in hardware and software on device that AI already has started. Maybe not everybody's aware of it on device, on CPEs, but it's being incorporated and extended. We may get to a point someday where you pick a CPE based on its AI capabilities, low end or high end, but just like we do with personal devices. But they're definitely, it's already started and the ball is rolling.
Wayne.
That's what the issue is. Yeah, so yeah, for AI and CPEs, yeah, I think you want to fight AI with AI, I think is our response with that. It's an ever-changing world. There's many possibilities that AI brings to the table. So I can answer it back with a question: is can you imagine a CPE without AI, in the future? So yeah, that's my response.
I don't really have strong opinions on the topic, but I believe it will happen. So.
No, I just want to echo what Wayne had said. We already, Wayne Daniel from Qualcomm, we already have customers that are doing some edge AI on our processors today, and it's just really a question of how much. Again, I think it comes down to the operators defining the use cases, because it can't be completely open-ended, because it goes completely in contrast with your energy efficiency, because AI takes, depending on what you want to do, a lot of energy. So, but definitely there's edge AI applications that will and are being implemented, and it's just going to be a question of how much we progress.
Great. So I'm also in agreement that I think we are going to see more and more AI going into the gateway devices over time. At MediaTek, we've shared our vision pretty publicly about having significant capabilities for both traditional AI and generative AI on the main gateway. And one of the reasons why we see it that way is coming from the consumer devices world, a lot of those devices like TVs and smart speakers don't have a lot of spare cycles, but there may be a way to lean on some of the spare cycles in the gateway ahead of potentially sending everything to the cloud. And this really does present an opportunity for the operators, because that gives you a little bit more sort of what's the right word? Forward interface with your customer rather than handing it right over to the cloud provider. If your gateway is the one that's answering the generative AI queries in your household, that puts you in a better position than just handing it over to Google. And so the generative AI capabilities, I think, are going to come. We see them right now in the handhelds and some of the laptops, but soon they'll end up in the gateways, and then those gateways can hopefully enable the ecosystem and give the operators a way of really taking back their customer interface and providing some extra value and differentiating themselves potentially against their competitors, maybe the cable guys.
So one additional question related to this one, okay? When Purple should start working on this particular topic about how we should integrate AI into the CPE and to expose it in software? Let's start in the same way, considering that this is still the same question.
It's never too soon. I think there are some use cases for the CPE that just make sense to do it on the device as opposed to in the cloud. Obviously, the cloud can have a lot more resources, and power consumption and other things may not be as big a concern as in the home device, but some key use cases that involve latency and security, right? Keep that information local instead of sending it up to the cloud where it may be exposed. Doing those decisions in real time as opposed to doing it on the cloud. I think that helps with the user experience and the overall capabilities by doing some things locally as opposed to remotely in the cloud.
Wayne, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I think I agree with Wayne down there. Wayne's in agreement here. So, yeah, I agree with the latency aspect, and the cost of keeping it going back to the cloud and back, right? And there's a lot of things that you don't want to put up onto the cloud for privacy reasons. So, yeah, so there's a lot of reasons to do things locally, and also, yeah, I think agree that probably it's time to start thinking about how that would be supported in the future as well.
Yeah, I think to the extent that you're probably already monitoring a lot of things that the AI would want to take advantage of, we may already be halfway there. It might just be a question of what you expose to which apps and how it shows up. But I would say it's not too early to start defining it.
I don't think there's much left to say. I agree with the panel.
Is yesterday a valid answer? I think, times are changing pretty quickly with AI, and the world's already a pretty different place than it was when ChatGPT came out a year and change ago, or not even, it was less than a year ago. But
okay, guys. So I understood it's for now or yesterday. That's fine. So it's urgent. So I understand that once we will create such a working group, you will be all involved and working very hard to push it forward. That's great. Thank you very much, guys. That's a great thing. So, okay, so we have just 2 minutes left. I will not ask another question because we will probably be not able to finish. So if there is a special question from the audience, maybe to one of the chipset vendors or whatever, please present yourself. Peter.
Yeah. Thank you so much. A quick question. So JP and Wayne Daniel, you emphasized the importance of open sourcing your chipset support to Linux, to OpenWT. What's your stance on that? Yeah. On open source, yeah? Let's say putting chipset support upstream to the Linux kernel, or even kernel drivers making available, because I mean we're using OpenWT as a base for Purple OS, so that would make the life a bit easier on the integration side.
Definitely agree with you. I mean, that's something that MaxLinear is starting to put, into play for next year. It's just going to make life easier, right? Because proprietary drivers is part of the problem that it's difficult today. So that's the next step for us, is to start upstreaming this into Linux. And then, then we get the support, not just of Purple, right? But then we have the support of Linux as well. So definitely, I think it's mandatory going forward for the chipset manufacturers. Otherwise, it just makes Walter's life more difficult. We're just trying to make life easy for Walter.
Any other comments on this question?
I think Qualcomm will continue to support upstream and do so. It makes our life easier and makes Walter happy.
Bill.
I was just going to add, it's already happening, maybe not as fast as you would like, but it's already happening. Certain customers are insisting on it and things like that. So it'll be the price of doing business shortly.
I'm hearing that Bill is a very customer-driven. He does what the customers ask him. That's great. Okay, guys, so we have 4 seconds left, so thank you very much. So I believe we'll see us again in Paris and have a similar conversation. Thanks a lot.